Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. In the matchless name of Yahushua Mashiach, this is Yahweh's servant, Reginald M. Graham. And we're delighted to be able to come to you once again with another message from the Word of Yahweh. This has come out of Her, My People broadcast with your host, Reginald M. Graham. And ladies and gentlemen, the Bible tells us in the book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 14, this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness to all nations, and then shall the end come. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that verse is being fulfilled in your very ears on this day. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank Yahweh for what he is doing in these end times. Once again, we're delighted, amen, to have you with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is the first time that you have witnessed this broadcast, this is a broadcast of truth, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a truth seeker, this broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, is tailor-made for you. And we thank Yahweh, amen, for you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we bring the truth raw and uncut. We don't chase rabbits. We don't beat around the bush. Ladies and gentlemen, we let the chips fall where they may. So if you are a truth seeker, you have tuned in to the right broadcast. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right into, amen, our message this evening. U.S. students, organizations are leading pro-Palestinian rallies on college campuses nationwide. College campuses nationwide witnesses demonstrations organized by students for justice in Palestine. Why pro-Palestinian demonstrations are popping up on college campuses, ladies and gentlemen? Social media, combined with the recent social justice movements, are behind pro-Palestinian demonstrations in ways never before seen. Divisive tensions are gripping American universities, large and small, as students react to the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. We have seen lately quite a bit of sympathy for Palestinian civilians, not just on college campuses, but in cities worldwide. Many college students don't rely on formal education institutions for information. And this is one of those topics where they rely heavily on things that are on the internet and that are on social media. Young people are more informed today on issues than ever before. With the information on the internet today, anyone can receive a PhD. You can stay at home today and receive a PhD. Many young people are now waking up, while in previous generations, young people did not have the information at their disposal that they have now through the internet. You cannot put the wool over their eyes like before, ladies and gentlemen, and other previous generations. Sympathy for Palestinians is growing worldwide. Universities have become more diverse over the decades, so have the opinions expressed there. We see a lot of groups that really have formed against oppressors and about being against settler colonialism, anti-racist groups, much more diverse groups, and populations of students on campuses became hotbeds for political socialization as well. Black Lives Matter is associated in a really close way with Palestinian rights, which is associated in really close way with other oppressed people in the world. This is why we see a buildup of energy around this issue. What is happening on college campuses and cities worldwide is a reflection of young people becoming more informed. Palestine and Israel is complicated. Well, at least that's what some people would like you to believe. We have long been sold the narrative of a tic-tac, a skirmish of rockets, a real estate dispute, or even a centuries-old religious feud. But there is so much more to the story of Palestine that some are now beginning to find out. But many are still misinformed and refuse to be educated. So, how did we get here? Let me take you back to the beginning. It started with the end of World War I, Muslims fighting each other, and a promise made by the British in France only a century ago. So here is how the story begins. It's 1916, and the First World War is raging on. The Turkish Ottoman Empire is 617 years old at this point and is on the brink of collapse. The British and the French has promised the Arabs sovereignty and Arab leadership over the Arabian Peninsula and the Levant if they help them defeat the Ottomans. And so the Arabs said, okay. And so they helped them defeat the Ottomans. Now, what does this have to do with Palestine and the creation of Israel? So when the British and the French won World War I, the Arabs wanted the land that was promised to them by the British and the French. But little did they know, the British and the French had this little top secret. And in this top secret meeting, it was planned that the captured Ottoman province would be divided into areas of British and French control and influence. The British would receive Palestine, Jordan, and southern Iraq, while the French would control southeastern Turkey, northern Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. This was called the Sykes-Picot Agreement. But then the Arabs found out about this agreement and they were shocked. They had been bamboozled and tricked. The British and French deceived them. They thought that they were fighting a war in order to overthrow their non-Arab Muslim rulers, only to end up with European colonial rulers instead. Now that the British occupy Palestine, something unusual is happening back in Europe. You see, the Zionist movement had grown increasingly influential and lobbied hard to support the mass migration of Jews to Palestine and recognized a Jewish claim to the Palestinian land. And in 1917, Britain, out of nowhere, publicly declared its intention of establishing a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. So the British just gifted Palestine, a country which was made up of 90% Palestinians, to European Israeli Zionists. They gave the land to European Jews like you would give a box of chocolates to someone. Historians still debate till this day on how or why the British gave Palestine to the Jewish Zionists. It is simply baffling to some, but it is simply white supremacy and racism. The white British gave Palestine to their white Jewish brothers. The British betrayed the brown Palestinians. Also, the British wanted European allies and a foothold in the Middle East. Now, at this point, the Jewish population in Palestine at the time was less than 10%. So when the British started to facilitate the immigration of European Jews to Palestine from 1922 to 1935, the Jewish population rose to 27%. With the British mandate in full swing, mass European Jewish immigration meant that more land would be seized, and the native Palestinian population grew increasingly worried. The Palestinians would demonstrate their concern to their British masters, but they would not have it. Their concern was ignored. European Jewish settlements were on the rise. The British proposed a petition of Palestinians and even advised the forceful removal of the Arab population from their homes. And yes, this was their plan to resolve the issue. So the Palestinians naturally rejected and revolted against the British. The revolt was crushed violently, killing thousands of Palestinians. The British and European Jews' atrocities committed against the Palestinians was far greater than the 1,400 murders and 240 hostages held by Hamas on October the 7th of this year. Today, more college students and others are aware of this history. With the invention of the internet, the atrocities of European Jews against Palestinians, and the stealing of Palestinian land, this history cannot be hid from people no longer. The world's sympathy is now turning towards the Palestinians. Hosea 4:6, it says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, and because they have rejected knowledge, Yahweh say, I have rejected them." The Palestinians would not give up. Ladies and gentlemen, they would continue their fight for independence. And the British were clearly fed up with the Palestinians. So in 1947, the British decided to hand over their responsibility for Palestine to the United Nations. So basically, the British told the United Nations, here, clean up our mess. And so the United Nations proposed this ridiculous proposal where Palestine would be partitioned into a Jewish and Palestinian state. Remember, at this point, European Jews and Palestine only constituted 1/3 of the population, most of whom arrived from Europe a few years earlier, yet in the proposal, they were allocated 55% of the land. Feeling like they got a bad deal again, the Palestinians rejected the proposal and the Zionists accepted it. However, here's the catch. The Zionists didn't agree to the proposed borders and even campaigned for more land. So they agreed to an Israeli state, but did not agree to the size of it so they could just choose for themselves. By 1948, Zionist militias would storm and capture Palestinian populated villages and cities, leaving thousands of Palestinians homeless and landless. The European Jews have a history of terrorism perpetrated against Palestinians. The Zionists wanted to seize and cleanse as much land from Palestine before the British would officially withdraw their forces. And on the same day the British left Palestine, the Zionists proclaimed the establishment of the new Israeli state. Overnight, millions of Palestinians lost their country. And what even more bizarre is that immediately the two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, recognized the new state of Israel. And if it could not get any worse, May 15, 1948 was perhaps one of the darkest days in Palestine. They called it the Nakba, or the catastrophic, or the catastrophe rather. To lose your country, your identity, and your home just like that is something truly horrifying. But if that wasn't enough for those Palestinian men, women, and children, they had to be ethnically cleansed from their lands and driven into the near total destruction. Driven into near total destruction. See, the creation of the state of Israel didn't just mean that 2 million Palestinians were forced out of their homes, did not just mean that 78% of historic Palestinians had been taken from its natives, did not just mean that 530 villages and cities were destroyed and ethnically cleansed, and did not just mean the killing of 15,000 Palestinians in a series of mass atrocities. It means that it was the start of something even more horrifying for the Palestinian people. It signaled over 70 years of occupation, home demolitions, arbitrary arrests, displacements, Israeli expansion, military checkpoints, construction of walls, discrimination, racism, massacres, and bombing of innocent men, women, and children in their own homes. So no, it's not complicated. The Palestinians are a people who have been oppressed and have had their homes and lands taken away from them and have been suffering ever since. This is how the event of the past shaped the condition of today. Palestinians are a people without a land. The horrific event that took place on October the 7th was grotesque and diabolical, which caused the death of 1,400 Israelis and the taking of 240 hostages. There is no justification of this horrible event, but this was the result of provoking and antagonizing the Palestinian people. The Palestinians have been in Palestine before the Middle Ages. These people have had to endure military checkpoints, seizing of more of their land, construction of walls, discrimination, racism, Israeli expansion, demolition of their homes, taking of their land, expansion of new settlements, terrorism, massacres, and bombing of innocent men, women, children in their own homes. October the 7th was a result of poking the bear. Since October the 7th, the IDF have committed war crimes, which Hamas and Hezbollah have also committed war crimes. Even though, like the U.S., the world know that the state of Israel is illegitimate, the international community have tolerated the imperial Zionist regime. But the world cannot tolerate the bombing of innocent men, women, and children, and the displacement of 1 million people, cutting off their electricity, medical supplies, food, and water. Since October the 7th, over 10,000 men, women, and children have died from bombings. Nearly 5,000 children, 2,800 women, and 2,200 men. This is why we are witnessing worldwide pro-Palestinian protests and demonstrations. The Israelis have always bombed Palestinians, but the media could hide it. But now, with the invention of the internet and social media, the Zionist Israeli terrorist government can't hide their atrocities anymore. The Zionists cannot throw stones anymore and hide their bloody hands. Christians are in denial. Christians are the most misinformed and ignorant people in the world today. Christians are extremely biased, and most think that all Arabs and Muslims are evil. There are just as many evil Christians as Muslims, perhaps even more. Most Christians believe the bombing of innocent Palestinians is justified. The Israeli military bombed a house recently where a high official Hamas leader was hiding out, and hundreds of innocent Palestinians were killed by the blast of the bomb. This bomb left a humongous crater in the ground, and Wolf Blitzer, doing an interview on CNN, asked a military spokesman, "Did you all know that there were Palestinian civilians in the vicinity of the house before you bombed it?" He said, "Yes, and this is what's involved in war." Wolf Blitzer was stunned after this statement. Christians believe that it's okay for European Jews to keep building settlements on Palestinian land. Also, it's okay to confiscate Palestinian land and to demolish their homes and take the land for themselves. Christians' weak argument is God gave the Jews the land of Israel. No, Yahweh gave the Israelites the land of Israel. European Jews are not descendants of ancient Israelites of the Bible. Yahweh gave the Israelites the land of Israel for their inheritance. European Jews are Gentiles. They are Europeans. Their ancestors were indigenous people of the Khazar region of Russia. The Khazar region is southeast Russia between the Caspian and Black Sea, parts of East Ukraine today. European Jews' ancestors converted to Judaism in the 8th and 9th century AD. They are called Ashkenazis. This is why these people today practice Judaism. There are a few true Israelites in Israel today. They are called the Mizrahim. But Yahweh have not given the land of Israel to the Ashkenazi, European Jews, who are Gentiles. But because Christians are misinformed, very ignorant, extremely ignorant, they will swear that European Jews are Yahweh's chosen people. It's a sad day when non-Christians are more informed and more knowledgeable than Christians, ladies and gentlemen. It's a sad day, ladies and gentlemen, when non-Christians are more educated, more knowledgeable, more informed than Christians. Many Christians are under denial. They are very biased, ladies and gentlemen. Israelis can bomb, ladies and gentlemen, massacre Palestinians, but Christians say it's justified. They can take, amen, their homes, bomb their homes, take their lands, ladies and gentlemen. But all of that is justified to Christians, ladies and gentlemen. The bombing of women and children is justified to Christian, innocent, amen, women and children. Amen. Over 5,000 children have died as a result of Israeli bombings, ladies and gentlemen. Glory to you. Amen. And another 2,800 women have died, and 2,200 Palestinian men have died. Innocent people from these bombardments, from these bombings, ladies and gentlemen, of this terrorist regime. Glory to Yahweh. The truth, ladies and gentlemen, will make you free. Yahushua said in the book of John, chapter number 8 and verse 32, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free, ladies and gentlemen. The truth will make you free. And this is, amen, the truth that I'm bringing to you today. Yes, I know it might be raw and uncut, but I'm bringing the truth to you today. People need to know the truth. Christians are the most misinformed, the most ignorant people on planet Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, these people, Ashkenazi, those European Jews, are not, amen, descendants of ancient Israelites of the Bible. These people, amen, ancestors were converted. They're proselytes. They were converted in the 8th and the 9th century AD. Ladies and gentlemen, they are Europeans. Yahweh promised Israel that land. He did not promise, amen, ladies and gentlemen, European Jews that land. Ladies and gentlemen, he did not promise them that land. He promised, glory to Yahweh, the true Israelites that land. But Christians today are biased, ladies and gentlemen. The Israeli military can bomb innocent men, women, and children, but it's justified. They can take land, build settlements. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that was horrific on October the 7th. Ladies and gentlemen, what Hamas did. They came in and murdered 1,400 Israeli citizens. But, ladies and gentlemen, over the years, Israel has been poking the bear. You provoke people, ladies and gentlemen, long enough, they're going to retaliate. Ladies and gentlemen, and this is what you've seen, a retaliation of poking the bear. Ladies and gentlemen, they poked the bear. The military checkpoints, the discrimination, the racism, the bombing, the arbitrary arrest, ladies and gentlemen, confiscating land, demolitioning, amen, Palestinian homes, just taking their homes from them, ladies and gentlemen. And after a while, ladies and gentlemen, people can't take no more. And it's wrong what Hamas did. It is wrong, but you must realize that the Palestinians have been in that land since the Middle Ages, since the mid 700, 800 years, ladies and gentlemen. They've been in that land before, amen, the European Jews began arriving and taking the land from them. They just took those people land, ladies and gentlemen. Just like the U.S. took the Native Americans land, just took it from them. Took it from them. And you know, the world for a while, they had tolerated that. But they can no longer tolerate, amen, the murdering, the bombing of innocent men, women, and children. This is why we see all the protests. This is why we see the rallies, the demonstrations taking place all over the world. And then in the college campuses, these young people today are more informed. These young people today are more knowledgeable. They have the internet now at their disposal. You can actually stay home and get a PhD, ladies and gentlemen, from the internet. All the information is there. For years, the media hid what the Israelis was doing. They hid it, but now they can't hide it no more, ladies and gentlemen. The internet, social media, ladies and gentlemen, have exposed these things. See, previous generation, when I was a young person, we didn't have internet. We didn't have the knowledge that people have now at their disposal. This is why these young people today are more informed. They know the history of Israel. They know the history, ladies and gentlemen, of the state of Israel. They know that Israel have committed massacres. Ladies and gentlemen, the Israeli government is a terrorist organization, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the information is coming out. After World War II, Israelis had sympathy of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, all the horrific acts that have been perpetrated towards them. 6 million Jews, European Jews, were massacred. But they didn't learn from history, ladies and gentlemen. Then they come and stole the land and do the same thing, amen, to the Palestinians, ladies and gentlemen, that happened to them. The same atrocities, persecutions that they had to endure, the Palestinians have to endure, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, this is the truth. If you ever want to hear the truth, glory to Yahweh. And these Christians are asleep. They are asleep. They need to wake up and see what's actually happening, ladies and gentlemen. The truth is coming out. The truth is slapping people upside their head. The truth is slapping them in their face. But they feel like, amen, they don't feel it, ladies and gentlemen. Christians are under denial. They are biased. Amen. The Israelis can do anything. The Israeli government can do anything. These Zionists can do anything. And the Christians are going to support them to the end. Just like Donald Trump and all these other ignorant politicians and these other racists and white supremacists, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be behind Israel if she do wrong. Glory to Yahweh. They're going to stand behind. But I thank Yahweh for some ex-presidents like Barack Obama standing up and saying it's a shame what's taking place, amen, to Hamas. He said, to the Palestinians rather, put yourself in these people's shoes. Put yourself in these people's shoes. There are highways and roads that the Palestinians can't even travel. It's only for, amen, the Israelis. The checkpoints, ladies. What if you had to endure these checkpoints? What if someone just come take your land, your ancestral land, just take your house, take everything from you, throw you in a refugee camp? What if you had to endure, ladies and gentlemen, the bombing? What if you had to endure the terrorism? What if you had to endure the racism and the discrimination that these Palestinians have to endure daily, ladies and gentlemen? But I thank Yahweh that the world eyes are beginning to open. The international community are beginning to see, ladies and gentlemen, that Israel have been throwing rocks, ladies and gentlemen, and hiding her bloody hands, amen, for decades. But now they can't do it. Same thing. Listen. Since the internet came out, do you know in the U.S., there have been tens of thousands of black men and black women that have been murdered by racist cops, by police, ladies, the police brutality. But they didn't have internet. They didn't have these cameras, ladies and gentlemen. They couldn't video these things. And many racist police walked away, ladies and gentlemen. Walked away, glory to Yahweh. Got away with murder. Got away with murder. Over the years, they killed so many black men, killed so many black women, ladies and gentlemen, brutalized them, shot them all in the head, killed them, and just walked away. amen, with no charges whatsoever. But now with these videos, now with the internet, well, now with this technology, you can't do it like you used to. And this is what brought, amen, Black Lives Matters, ladies and gentlemen, and all the protests and with Floyd and all the black men and black women that have been brutalized and murdered by police, by the hands of police, ladies and gentlemen, in the U.S. And now, ladies and gentlemen, these police is walking a thin line, ladies and gentlemen. They walking on thin ice. They can't do what they used to do, ladies and gentlemen, with this technology. Same thing with Israel. They can't hide no longer, ladies and gentlemen. They've been committing these atrocities, perpetrating, ladies and gentlemen, these atrocities on the Palestinian for decades. Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. There's been complete silence. But now protests and demonstrations are breaking loose everywhere. Oh yes, all over the world and major cities in Paris and London, in Stockholm, ladies and gentlemen, in Berlin, amen, and Detroit, Chicago, New York, ladies and gentlemen. Glory to Yahweh. Amen. These protests and demonstrations are taking place worldwide, in India, ladies and gentlemen, on all the continents, amen, today in our world. There are demonstrations, ladies and gentlemen, and protests, pro-Palestinian demonstrate, because people waking up. You can't put the wool over their eyes. People refuse to be bamboozled, ladies and gentlemen. Glory to Yahweh. But we thank Yahweh, amen, for what he is doing, ladies and gentlemen. It is Yahweh. It is Yahweh, ladies and gentlemen. Glory. The man cannot hide, amen, their sins like they used to hide their sins. Amen. The day of reckoning is coming, ladies and gentlemen. I say the day of reckoning has come. Glory to Yahweh. Israel, you can't hide no longer. You can't hide. Amen. Amen. You can't hide no longer. Glory to Yahweh. You used the Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust, to hide from all your atrocities and all of your wickedness and all your terrorism, amen, and your racism and discrimination. You should have learned, amen, if there ever been a people that should have learned, ladies and gentlemen, about persecution, about discrimination, about racism, about bigotry. It is the Jews, but they haven't learned their lesson. They went over to Palestine, ladies and gentlemen, and practically stole the land from those people, ladies and gentlemen. Those people are oppressed by this imperial, amen, racist, terrorist regime, ladies and gentlemen. Glory to Yahweh. Amen. That Britain and France propagated, ladies and gentlemen. Britain and France propagated. Amen. Why? Because, amen, the European Jews are white. It's white supremacism. It is racism, ladies and gentlemen. Amen. Britain and France, glory to Yahweh, promoted their white brothers. And these tan and brown, amen, people in Palestine, they just threw them away, ladies and gentlemen. They just threw them away, glory to Yahweh, and gave those people that land over there. It ain't even their land. Oh, bless Yahweh, amen, for the truth. Well, I'm going to close here. Thank Yahweh for you tuning in with us once again with another message, amen, from the word of Yahweh. Thank Yahweh for the truth, ladies and gentlemen. The truth is marching through the land, ladies and gentlemen. The Bible said you cannot do nothing against the truth but for the truth. When you come against the truth, all you doing, amen, is magnifying the truth, exposing the truth, ladies and gentlemen. But we thank Yahweh for you tuning in with us once again with another message, amen, from the word of Yahweh. We want our YouTube amen, viewers to subscribe, like, and share. Send your comments. Write those comments. Amen. Share with us your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Share with us your thoughts. Subscribe, like, and share. We will really appreciate it. Amen. Amen. A whole lot. Well, until next time, amen. May Yahweh continue to bless you and smile on you is our prayers.